Hey there. All right. Got to get back into the rhythm of making more videos, so here we are. Although, just disregard that. I don't know. Seems kind of silly to mention that. I don't know. Anyway, we've got the popsicle sticks again that aren't actually popsicle sticks. I feel like I can make more sounds with these than I did in the last video. But yeah, thanks to those of you that welcomed me back. It's nice to be back. I do like making videos. I wish I could make them more consistently, but we're working on that. But yeah, and I've also got a lot of other items that I didn't actually get around to introducing. I don't know. I've got vitamin C here. You should take vitamin C. I feel like this one might be a little loud, potentially. It's kind of got an interesting sound to it. It's like, it's got that tap. But because each time you tap it, it like jostles all of the pills inside there. They're like, I don't know if you can see, they're like tablets. They're not pills. I don't know. I don't know what the terminology is for medications. I call these tablets, and then like I call pills, like the classic like white and red with the halfway, that's like a pill to me. Like a pill has like a shell with like the stuff on the inside, whereas a tablet is just like a chalky, like condensed thing of stuff. That's my terminology, but I don't know that that's actually correct. But anyway, they all get jostled, and because they're kind of chalky, right? I feel like that makes kind of an interesting sound. I want to do more of like a shaking sound, kind of like a matchbox. I like matchbox sounds a lot, but I am worried that this is really loud. I'm watching the waveform to make sure it's not super loud. It might be a little loud. I'll damp the audio, obviously. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's the vitamin C. Who knows? Who knows? You guys can let me know what you think. What do you think? We've also got, if I can get it out of the box. We've got Velcro. It's a big roll of Velcro. Actually, I did with it. Well, hopefully I'm not making a bunch of noise. All right. So, we've got a big roll of Velcro. I can cut up pieces if I really want to, but I've already got some from things that I had lying around. So we've got, this is the smooth side. We'll start with the smooth side. The smooth side probably isn't going to make too many sounds, although that's maybe not so bad. It's like a scratchy fabric kind of sound. I feel like that could be pretty good, actually. I don't know. You'll have to let me know. From what I can hear, it sounds pretty good. Pretty decent. I think I could like this sound. Other than that, the scratching. I don't know how many other sounds you can make with the soft side. I mean, I guess it's the same with the other side, but it's just a little louder on the hard side. Brush the mic. I can't really hear that myself, so it must be very quiet. I don't know. So that's the soft side. And then we've got the hard side, which is currently attached to a little USB hub. I had this Velcroed to my desk so that it wouldn't move around. I don't know, that's kind of harsh. I don't know. I don't know. Now that I'm hearing it, I thought it would be a good idea. But now that I'm hearing it, I'm not actually so sure that this is going to be a sound that a lot of people like. I could see it being a very niche sound where some people are like, oh my gosh, that's the best thing I've ever heard. But I have a feeling a lot of people are not going to like this. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm on the fence about that one. I don't want to do that one too much because if it does sound bad to you, then I don't want the whole video to be that. So you'll have to let me know. That was a taste. That was a taste of it. If you're like, I want more, then just let me know. But we can do this offside because I feel like this one was pretty good. Is this like coming off? No, we're good. We're good. It's not the fanciest Velcro. Although, I don't even know if it matters. Velcro seems pretty simple. Velcro's pretty awesome, honestly. And it's like pretty effective at holding things together. I never had Velcro shoes growing up. I guess my parents didn't want me to be like unable to tie knots and things. But admittedly, Velcro shoes are kind of genius if you think about it. I mean, like seriously, why are not like all shoes Velcro shoes, Like obviously when it comes to like designer shoes, right? You might just like the look of laces, like especially if every other shoe was Velcro, then it would make sense that like, because high fashion, they try to do things differently, just for the sake of doing them differently, right? So I could see them doing it, but like most adult shoes, if not like all adult shoes, are just regular lace-up shoes. But why though? I don't know. I've been seeing a lot, and we're getting a little dark here. Sometimes it just like glitches out. Like I didn't actually change anything, and it still got brighter just because like I guess I refreshed. Like it gets stuck on things sometimes. I don't know why. But I was about to say, I've been seeing more and more stuff about Starfield, the new Bethesda game that's coming out soon. Technically, I believe if you bought some like super deluxe edition or something, you actually have access to it right now. So there's the possibility that some of you watching this are playing it currently. I mean, not like right this second, because obviously you're watching the video, which, I mean, I guess you could watch this video and play a game at the same time, but you're probably not doing that. I don't have the largest audience either, so there's not a huge chance or anything that any of you are interested in Starfield at all. But I've talked about video games before. I mean, my best performing video, which has like 12,000 views at this point, was me just talking about video games. So I think there's a pretty decent chance that at least a good portion of you are into video games, just because I talk about them a lot. I don't know if I'm going to get it, honestly. I was a huge fan of Skyrim. Skyrim is potentially my favorite game of all time. I mean, like, it's hard to pinpoint just one game that's like your favorite of all time, right? Just because, you like a lot of different games for a lot of different reasons, and also there's just a lot of games aren't perfectly comparable because they're just so different. So to say that I like Skyrim as my favorite game of all time, I don't know that I could say that, but it is without a doubt one of my favorite games of all time. Great game. That's the only, it's the only Bethesda game that I've played that I enjoyed. The reason I'm skeptical about Starfield is for a couple reasons, honestly. Reason number one is that it strikes me as the type of game that is probably more similar to Fallout than it is to Skyrim. And I really liked Skyrim. And so when Fallout 4 came out, I was like, oh, so it's going to be just Skyrim with guns, right? And so I bought Fallout 4, and I didn't like that game at all. So if Starfield's more like Fallout, then I'm probably not going to like it. So I'm hesitant to buy it for that reason, simply because it probably has more in common with Fallout than it does with Skyrim. I know a lot of people say that Skyrim wasn't even the best Elder Scrolls game. It's the only one I've played. I haven't gone back and played any of like Oblivion or Morrowind or whatever. I'm a casual gamer. And we're getting dark again. I don't know why it does that. But anyway. So yeah, Skyrim's the only one I played, but I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm just hesitant. The other reason I'm hesitant to get into Starfield, to buy Starfield, is because when they showed, like a few months ago, or maybe like close to a year ago, I'm not exactly sure. It was a while ago. They showed like gameplay of it, and that was kind of the first time it even was on my radar. Like up until then, I didn't even know it was a thing. I got randomly recommended some video of it from like E3 or something. I don't even know when it was from. I was like, what is this? And it was like, from the studio that made Skyrim. It's like, oh, so that's Bethesda or whatever. But that trailer or gameplay reveal or whatever that was, it was garbage. I don't know who signed off on them using that as promotional material, but I question their, motivations. First of all, I'm going to cough here. Sorry. I'll have to edit that out. First of all, the game is running at like 12 frames per second. It just makes the game look really bad. Because you're thinking like, well, this is promotional material, so this is the game at its best, because obviously they want to show the game at its best. You wouldn't show a game at its worst to sell it, right? That just doesn't make sense. So the game at its best can only muster like 12 frames per second. What is the game at its worst? So that was a little worrisome. And then also potentially even more worrisome because, performance, if it's like an early build, it's understood that they're going to optimize it over time. And so by the time, we can play it, it'll probably have better performance. So that wasn't too bad. It was just a little strange. But more worrisome was the fact that it looked very similar to No Man's Sky, which came out back in like 2016 now, I think, which is pretty crazy. No Man's Sky was a game I was insanely hyped for. I was following that game for years before it came out. This was back when I was in high school. I was incredibly hyped for that game to come out. And when it finally came out, it was like the magnum opus for me before I started playing it. And then the second I started playing it, I was like, oh, wow, this game is trash. No offense to anyone out there that enjoys No Man's Sky. Apparently it's received a lot of updates that made it like way better. I haven't played it in a long time simply because that first impression was just so terrible. Also, it seems like the game has taken more of a direction of being like a Minecraft clone, like it's Minecraft in space essentially, which I'm just not as interested in. But yeah, I was super hyped for No Man's Sky. It came out, played it, and I hated it, and it just destroyed me. From that moment onwards, I didn't trust marketing. I didn't trust anyone. That was my Joker moment. And it looks very similar. They had like the pulse thing where you like scan your environment and it tells you where like ore and like minerals are. It even had like the same, it had very similar UI and gameplay where like you mine resources and stuff. It looked very similar to No Man's Sky, and I was like, oof, that is a game that I don't want to pay for again. Now, to be fair, it is a Bethesda game. There were bigger red flags that we should have, noticed with No Man's Sky. Looking back, I should have been like, wow, you got to use your brain. Granted, I was like 15, 14 at the time. Not in 2016, but like leading up to its release when I was getting hyped up for it, right? That was back in like 2014. My age is pretty much just the year because I was born mid 1999, so it works out that way. Half of the year I'm a year ahead, and then half of the year it's the same. What was I saying? I was talking about No Man's Sky, but like, anyway, the game, it burned me, and I didn't want. Oh, that's what I was talking about. There were bigger red flags surrounding No Man's Sky that should have been like, the game probably isn't going to be everything it's, saying that it's going to be. Or even if it is, it's like the things they're saying aren't that crazy. Anyway, this is a Bethesda game, which is a bigger studio. They're more used to doing like RPG and like, stuff like that. So it can be assumed that, they're going to have a better grasp of how to make a game actually fun to play. But again, I wasn't big into Fallout 4, so it's tough to say. I still haven't decided. Like I said, the game actually officially comes out on September 5th, which is in 4 days. I think it's the 1st today. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure it's the 1st of September today. So it comes out in 4 days. And like I said, if you have the Super Deluxe Ultra $100,000 edition, apparently you can already play it 5 days early. Wow, what a bonus. I mean, I get it if you're just like a huge gamer, then I guess it's worth it. And I mean, other stuff comes with that purchase than just, getting it 5 days early. But it's like, there's probably a lot of people out there that bought that version just to have it 5 days early. And it's like, once those 5 days are up, were they really worth like double the cost of the game? I think, sorry, dropped it. I think the like premium edition or whatever, I'm pretty sure it was like $120 or something. Generally, that's what you see is like $60 for the base game, and then like $120 for like the deluxe edition or whatever. I dropped it again. Okay, we're just gonna leave that one on the floor, I guess. Although games are becoming like $70 now, which is, it really doesn't make a big difference because, inflation. If you do the math, like back when I was growing up, like to buy a $60 game back in like the early 2000s, it was like the equivalent of like a game being like $100 now. And it definitely felt that way if you notice. Like, I don't know, I guess I'm also an adult, so I have my own money at this point, and I can like make money more easily than I could as a kid, right? Because when you're a kid, like you're just scrounging together like I didn't get an allowance when I was a kid, so the only money I ever made was from like birthdays and Christmas. That was basically 2 times a year you would get money. That was basically it. Sometimes if like you went on a field trip with your school, your mom would send you with like $30 that you could buy stuff at like a gift shop, but I would always not buy stuff at the gift shop so I could just keep the $30 and buy other things. But anyway, my point being is that when you're a kid, that $60 that you saved up for a game felt like a lot. And now it's like $60 is like, I mean, it's not fun to pay $60 for something. But especially if it's a game you're going to spend a lot of time playing, it's like, okay, yeah, it's not that big a deal. I don't buy a lot of games either. I don't know if I've talked about this, but like, I enjoy video games, and I kind of feel this way about like any hobby, really. But I enjoy video games, obviously. I play them a decent amount. But I still don't know that I'd consider myself like a huge gamer, like I'm a pretty casual gamer. Like there's a lot of games out there, and I don't play that many of them, at least not like a wide variety, like I play like Call of Duty, I play Battlefield. It's like those are just surface level like games. I don't know, like I've played Mario, I've played Zelda, I've played Skyrim. Wow, one of the best-selling games of all time. I've played Grand Theft Auto 5. Wow, one of the best-selling games of all time. It's like I don't really like go in there and buy, like indie games, right? I'm not super in touch with like the gaming community and like Starfield. I didn't even know it was coming out. I didn't apparently. I've been looking into it recently because now I know about it. But apparently, the game has been in development since like the 90s. I don't even know. I guess it hasn't been in development that whole time, but it's been like an idea. And apparently, it's been in development for like a long ass time. So like I didn't even know it existed until like a month ago. So like I'm not in touch with like the gaming community and like gaming outlets. Like I don't know the games that are coming out. I don't really have an interest in like E3 or any other like gaming, information. Like I play games and I enjoy them. Like if I enjoy them, and sometimes they're shit and then I feel bad. Like I bought Fallout 4 and I played it for like 10 hours. To put it in perspective, I have like 500 to 600 hours in Skyrim. I played that game a lot. I played Fallout 4 for like 10 hours. And I was like, yeah, this game sucks ass. I just didn't like it. And I know what you're saying. It's like, well, it's not really a huge amount of time. Like maybe you just didn't get to the part that you enjoyed. It's fair, but at the same time, like Skyrim hooked me instantaneously. So, I don't know. It's not really an equal comparison. I'm going to pick this one off the ground because I want to rub them together. So I don't know. But again, like I was going to say, I kind of feel that way about everything. I don't know. I feel like I'm just a very boring individual. I'm not like really into anything at all. Like I like a lot of things, but my interest in those things doesn't extend to a point where like I revolve my life around them. Like you see, like, and I'm not even saying that as like, oh, that's a bad thing to do. Like, no, I think I'm the weird one. Like, I think it's pretty normal to be like into something and to devote a lot of your energy to that thing. You see it with a lot of people, like music, for instance. Like, I love music. I love listening to tons of different types of music. And there are a couple artists that I like know by name and like will look up their stuff. But like outside of that, like I don't care about like these people, like people like with Taylor Swift or any other like big name artist. It's like people like obsess over this person. Not necessarily like that sounds bad, but like again, it's just like they're just very interested in this person, right? Like it's, I don't necessarily think that that's abnormal. I think that might just be a normal thing. And that's something that has completely bypassed me. Like, I don't do that with anything at all. Like, there's nothing in life that, like, interests me to that degree. Like, I like a lot of different things. I like video games. I like music. I like taking pictures. I like photography. But, like, none of them obsess me, like... I don't obsess over any of those things to the point where it like I don't like I said, I know some artists' names, so like I look up their stuff. Like for instance, Carpenter Brute, I think is how you say it. I love his music, but I don't know anything about him. I don't know where he's from. I don't know when his next album is gonna come out. I don't know anything. Like I'll look up his name and see that a new album came out. And I'm like, oh cool, I guess he made a new album. It's like. I'm not in touch with like anything. I don't know. Like I said, I guess I'm just weird. But yeah, let me know if you're gonna plan on buying Starfield, or if you have already played it because you have like the premium deluxe edition. Let me know what you think. I mean, if you've played Fallout, is it more like Fallout? Have you played Skyrim? Is it more like Skyrim? I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. There's also the question of like what platform I get it on, because now I play most of my games. Well, I play all of my games on my Xbox. Um, but it's a Bethesda game, and if there's anything you know about Bethesda games, especially as a player that was really into Skyrim, which I played on PC, um, it's all about the mods. The mods are amazing in Bethesda games. And if you play on console, you don't have mods. Now, I think, as far as I know, they have kind of like wrapped mods into their games to an extent, so where like even console players can like get mods. I think there's like a mod marketplace now, like built into their games. I'm not 100% sure how that works, because I haven't played any of their games on console, but I think it's something like that. The problem being, though, that I'm pretty sure you have to pay for those mods, and I'm not about to pay for some mods. Look, the amount of effort that some modders put into their mods, especially for like Skyrim, like some of those are fucking insane. Like I don't even want to know how much time and effort went into making those. So those are things that you should definitely like, they deserve to be paid for, but I'm not going to pay for them. It's more a precedent simply because like I have spent so many hours modding Skyrim at this point, and I did it all for free, that it just seems weird at this point to start paying for mods. It's like, why now? Like all these people that came before that put in all this effort, I didn't pay for that shit. I don't know. There's also kind of the aspect of it where it's like, I'm sure Bethesda is getting a cut, and it's probably a pretty big cut of the mods revenue. And that just kind of feels weird. It's like they're getting paid for someone fixing their game, essentially, which is just really weird. I don't know if that sits right with me. So, so yeah, I don't know. I would want to get it on PC just because of the modability. But I really, really like playing games on Xbox as opposed to on PC. I used to only play on PC because I didn't even have an Xbox. Um, but ever since like playing on Xbox and getting used to that, it's like, to me it's just way better. And I also like how I keep gesturing over here because this is where my Xbox and PC are. um, I really like it because it separates the two, like right now I only use my PC for work. It's a workstation essentially. And I only use my Xbox to play games, and I like that separation, where it's like, all right, I'm on my Xbox, I'm playing games. I'm on my PC, I'm doing work. I like that separation. It's mentally, it's important to me, so I like that, and I don't know if I would want to buy a game on PC because then it complicates that to a degree. And then on top of that, there's also, if you own an Xbox Series X, or I think probably the Series S also does it, they have this thing called like fast replay, or I forget what it's called, but it's this system where like when you click on a game, or when you turn off your console, it somehow remembers like everything, like where you left it. So like when you open up a game, it just starts immediately. Like there's no load time, and it's like right where you left off. It's fucking insane. It doesn't work on multiplayer games, um, just because you have to like connect to the servers. So it doesn't work with multiplayer games. But for any single player game, which Starfield is a single player game, it's insane. The amount of like to go from like, okay, I'd like to play a video game right now, to be playing that game, like the amount of time between those two things, like to think about playing a game and to be playing that game. On the Xbox, it's like 10 seconds, maybe. Maybe even faster than that. It's insanely fast. It's so cool. On the PC, like you have to turn on your computer, which takes longer than the Xbox turning on. You have to, turn on Steam, which I usually don't have Steam running in the background because, it takes like processing power to keep that stuff running, and I'm doing other stuff and I want to maximize, the efficiency of my PC. So I usually have Steam closed. So I have to open Steam, and so that takes a while to open. And then you have to open the game, and then Steam takes like 10 seconds to like actually load the executable file, and then like you have to like load into the game, and you usually only load into like the main menu, so then you have to load the like save file. Like the amount of time to go from like, oh, I want to play the game, to actually be playing the game on PC is like, I don't know, maybe like 2 minutes, which isn't super long, but 2 minutes versus like practically instantaneous. It's a cool experience playing on the Xbox with those specific features. I don't know if PlayStation has something similar. I remember when like the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X were like first announced or whatever. I remember the PlayStation was talking about how like they've got apparently like the fastest hard drive ever conceived or something like that. I don't know. So I assume like load times are pretty fast on that as well. But I don't know if they have the system that Xbox does where it literally just picks up right where you left off. Like I'm not talking like you load the save. Like no, it's like you didn't even turn off the console. It's insane. So that's really cool. So I would probably get it on Xbox even though you wouldn't have mods, but I don't know. This is assuming I get the game at all, which I'm honestly not sure I'm going to. Going back to talking about money and $60, $60 is not a ton of money, but it's a lot of money to spend on a game that you're not going to play. And that was Fallout for me. I spent $60 on that game and I just didn't play it, so I don't want that again. So I'm a little hesitant, but yeah, let me know what you think. I've been getting the flashing icon for like 2 minutes now, so I think I'm going to end it there. But thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the sounds. Hopefully, you'll have to let me know what you thought about the Velcro, about the pills, the vitamin C. Was it too loud? Oh, there goes the video. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.